All right, good afternoon, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm Sarah Neiswanger, Associate Director of Industry Engagement. And on behalf of all of us at the National Glass Association, thank you for joining us for today's Thirsty Thursday webinar featuring Stephanie Couch, owner of Build Women. Before we begin, please do take note of a few NGA events as they're shown on your screen. And let's dig into a couple that are coming up to learn more information. Registration opens next week. That's May 30th for the NGA Glass Conference in Milwaukee. High-performing glass is a theme here with VIG particularly on display, both as conversations within the meeting room and also at our offsite reception venue. Sustainability, recycling, and net zero conversations will continue, and we're bringing back some of our industry's finest, a group we like to call the Old Guard, to address some nuances of glazing constructions that have also stood the test of time. Sponsorship is a great way to boost your company's visibility at this event, and I'd be glad to visit with you about some of the options. So I put my email on the screen. Just drop me a line and we can start that conversation. And it's hard to believe Glass Build America is also right around the corner. I'm told there are just a few booth spaces left, so if you are considering exhibiting, now is the time to pull that trigger. Otherwise, for now, if you're already planning to display, registration for your booth personnel will open June 18th. And for trade show attendees, your time to register comes July 16th. So stay tuned as more information comes on both of these events. I'm now pleased to introduce Stephanie Couch. We've had the pleasure of working with her at Glassbuild in 2023 and at the BEC conference this past March, and so we're excited to partner with her again today. Stephanie is a dynamic branding, sales, and marketing expert with over 20 years experience in the millwork industry. She now heads both Build Women and Grit Blueprint with a commitment to guiding entrepreneurs and businesses towards growth and profitability. Her expertise spans technology, branding, and business development in building and distribution of windows and doors. Through Build Women, she empowers women-led projects, while Grit Blueprint focuses on boosting industry business performance with AI and system-driven marketing and branding solutions. Stephanie's notable achievements include scaling a startup to a $200 million in the door industry. As a Gallup Clifton Strengths certified coach and captivating speaker, she excels in transforming talents into professional strengths and businesses into acclaimed brands. Stephanie, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. Thank you for the great intro, Sarah. I'm excited to be here. So I'm going to get this kicked off. I want to start by saying I am excited about everything that's happening in AI every day because I get up and look at my stuff every day on my emails or see things online, and there's new innovations every single day when I look at it. So I'm excited to share some new things that have been really invented or changed in the last few months since I spoke about this last at BEC. So we're going to get started. And one thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be sharing my screen at first for a presentation, but then I'm going to go to a live demo of ChatGPT and then also another tool called Midjourney. So as we go through this, I want everyone to drop questions in the Q&A as you have them. We should have some time at the end for questions. And then also, if I don't get time to answer your questions here, I will get Sarah to send them over, and hopefully I can follow up with the answers to those in either a video or a email. And then you can always ask questions to me through email at the end. So if you have a burning question, please drop it in the chat. And then I'm going to also ask for some interactive back and forth here in the chat as we go through. So be ready for that. All right, let's get going. So I want to know who remembers this machine. I think that most people here probably know what this is. This is a fax machine. And one of the things I laugh about a lot in our industry is that there are actually a lot of people who still actively use this in their day-to-day business, especially in the building materials side of the business where I kind of grew up in the lumberyard. This is still a daily user. So it's kind of funny because we're talking about something so innovative like AI, but we still use some of the older technology that most industries do not even understand what it is. And also another thing is dial-up Internet. So if you are around long enough, you know what this little AOL CD was that we all probably got in the mail, I think every single day for years, trying to get us to sign up for internet and giving us free hours. The reason I'm talking about the fax machine and also about the internet is because I believe that this moment in time right now with AI and automation is very similar to when things like the fax machine and internet were invented. I like to refer to this time as the fourth industrial revolution because I believe that AI will touch almost every single part of our lives in the next few years. Now, you may be someone who has already adopted a lot of AI, or you may be someone who knows very little about it. And it doesn't really matter for the purpose of this automation webinar here because I'm going to talk about everything that you need to know to get started. So we're going to start with talking about what is AI? Why would you want to use it? Why do you care about it? And then we're going to roll into how can you start implementing it into your daily life and business. And I do want to say there is a lot of topics here. We could talk about this for 24 hours straight if we wanted to and still not even scrape the surface. This is a basic, here's what you need to know to get started type webinar. And then there will be a few tools that you can go and explore on your own to get even deeper. But just know this is going to be for people of all scales and sizes of using AI. So I want to start really quickly by dropping the chat for me. What is your usage on AI today? So right now, if you never use AI and you just really have been trying to avoid it, I want you to drop in the chat the word never. If you are curious about AI and you've kind of used it a little bit, I want you to drop the word curious in. And then if you are a pro where you probably should be teaching this class right now, I want you to put the word pro. So I'm seeing a good mix of never and curious. Okay, Marcus is a pro. I love that. Marcus, we should chat later. Josh is using it to improve emails and messages to customers. So a lot of curiosity here and also some nevers and then a few pros. So I love that. I love that there's a great mix. And I think that's kind of what I would say is in the world right now. As a general consensus, some people have played with ChatGPT a little bit, some people haven't, but everyone has probably at least heard about this because in 2021 in December, ChatGPT really came onto the scene. So I want to talk about what is AI to just kick this off. If you know what this cartoon is, this was one of my favorite cartoons when I was a child. It's the Jetsons. And they had this amazing robot named Rosie, and she pretty much did everything. She made breakfast, she did all sorts of tasks, and she was really a great help to their family. They also had flying cars and all these other things that were probably not that far off. I'm sure Elon's going to figure that out pretty quickly. But I love the idea of having a robot that could do all these tasks for me. And the funny part is now I feel pretty certain that we are not that far away from a lot of these things, and some of those we are already living today. So if you want to know what AI is, we're going to talk in the most general terms about what it is in your daily life. So this is a robot vacuum. I want you to just put the word yes into the chat if you have one of these or something like these in your home. Mary Grace has one, Scott, Brianna. So lots of people. I love my robot vacuum. My husband really hates it because he gets tangled up on this rug we have in our living room. And so it's a little bit of a fight between me and my husband about Steve. And we've named him. That's who he is. And Steve comes on every day at 9 o'clock. And we've been able to program him to go certain places in the house, but Steve has a mind of his own and he just still goes on this rug no matter what we've programmed him to do. So that's probably user error on our part. But if you have a robot vacuum, you are using AI technology. And I see that Scott has one named Elvis, so I'm sure Steve and Elvis probably talk about how much they hate us and they're cleaning our houses for free all the time, but that's their job, right? So artificial intelligence in its most simple definition is really anything that you can develop a computer system to perform tasks for you. So if it's normally something a human would have to do and you can get your computer to do it by itself on an automation, that is artificial intelligence. And there are so many things that can be done with this, and now it's getting smarter every single day to be able to make a lot more decisions in a lot higher level strategy task. And one thing that I hear a lot in the industry, especially, but just in the world in general, and it is a concern for some people, including myself, is that AI is going to take over the world. AI is going to take over our jobs. People are going to lose their jobs because of AI. And listen, I don't know what the future holds. So AI could eventually become something that we can't control. I don't know. But at this time, I really believe that AI is not going to take your job. Who will take your job, especially in the construction and building industry, is someone who learns and optimizes their skills with AI and you don't. That person that knows how to use AI and can do things faster and better and with more technology, they are going to take your job. Especially in the construction and building materials industry where things are still the glass industry, we are still using our hands a lot. People are doing things in the field. A lot of those jobs are never going to go away. But the technology that makes that easier to do is coming. It's already here in a lot of ways. So if you do things today to optimize your ability to use AI and automation, you will always have those skills that you can then go in and compete with the best talent in the whole world. So that's what we're going to talk about. AI is you becoming a person who can optimize and utilize computer technology to do tasks for you. So if you would like to learn how to make things easier for yourself, I saw in the pre-chat that someone said, can this just do my job for me already? Kind of a double-edged sword, but if they could figure out how you could do that without anyone knowing, it'd be pretty awesome. But if you would like a computer to do more tasks that you hate doing, I just want you to type the word yes into the chat here. So if the answer is yes, I want to see those. All right. So I also want to know, just really quickly in one or two words, what task would you love to get rid of that you would love AI to do? And it doesn't matter if you know if it can do it or not, just what task. So there are a few tasks for me in my general life that I would love to get rid of. And some of those AI can do right now, and some of them they can't. So I want to see. So analytics, scheduling jobs, creating processes and job descriptions. So job descriptions we can definitely do through ChatGPT. Maybe we'll do that in the demo here. Fold my laundry. Okay, so that is on my list too, and I haven't figured that one out yet. If you figure that out, please send me an email. Taxes, note taking. So note taking, I have a really great tip for that. We're going to talk about with Zoom AI summary. There's also some other different things in that. And then bill collecting, billing, jobs, costing, all that stuff. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of the same type of admin tasks that are data driven, except the folding laundry, which again, we haven't figured that one out yet. These tasks can obviously be automated and they can be used with AI if you know how to do it the right way. So really exciting that the things you want to do can be done. I want to go through a few AI in real life examples and just kind of show you what already is probably in your day-to-day life that you might be using, you don't realize is using AI. One of those is Apple Face ID. So if you have an Apple phone, I'm an Apple for life. I'm a millennial. I love Apple products. If you have an Apple phone and you open your Face ID to get into your phone security, that is AI. If you go to the airport and you use Clear, where they're using your thumbprint or your facial scan, they're using AI. If you have a Tesla, anybody in this group have a Tesla, type the word Tesla into the chat. If you have any kind of self-driving car, there you go. You have a AI using in your car. If you have an Alexa in your house. So I have an Alexa sitting here on my desk. She's probably listening now because I've said her name twice. If you have an Alexa device in your house, you can do reminders, you can order things on Amazon through it. You can turn off all of your lamps if you have Alexa plugs. That's what I use mine for because I have a real affection for lamps. So I have about 30 lamps in my house. Please hold your judgment for later. I know that's a little crazy, but I like to say, good morning or good night, and all of my lamps automatically turn on. So my husband, again, just like with the robot vacuum, sometimes get frustrated with my Alexa because if the power goes out, they restart and I have to reset all of them. It's kind of a pain. But I'm seeing people have, 5 Alexas. John Willard is doing sports betting and setting odds on his Alexa. That's a good use, I guess. I've never heard that before. Love that Alexa with reminders with your kids. So I like to set reminders for myself too. So I think that's a great idea, especially if you're asking them to go and check something in the oven or if you're I get busy and I'll leave something in the oven and then all of a sudden it burns. So there you go. You set your Alexa and it tells you. All right. This is my favorite part of this session. I am really excited to show you. So maybe you have seen ChatGPT before, maybe you have not, but I'm going to actually go in and demo live ChatGPT. So I would like to take the person who dropped in that they wanted to write job descriptions, and then I saw someone else who said something about emailing. So give me a job description that you would like to write, and put just a little blurb in the chat, whoever said that, on the job description that you would like to write. And we're going to go in and actually do this live. And one thing I will tell you about ChatGPT, if you haven't ever used it, is that you never know what it's going to give you. So this is not rehearsed. I have not done any kind of, practicing on this other than just using it for the last 2 years. So whatever comes in, I am not going to know what it's going to give me. So glass technician, what area is this? Some commercial, residential? Is it both? Can we give it just a little bit more? Okay, lion tamer, we can do that one too. Okay, so we're gonna do a residential glass technician, and we'll put a little commercial in there. And then for fun, Nick, we're gonna do lion tamer. So because I just love a good challenge. So I'm gonna exit out of this screen and just go straight to my internet browser. And I'm going to go to my ChatGPT. So I gotta see if I can still pull the chat up here. All right, here we go. So this is my just standard. Everything on this is pretty standard, except, and this is not something you really need to know, but just if you have a ChatGPT experience, this is an ARPM app that I'm using. I have a plugin in. It makes it a little bit better. I'll do a quick demo for you. So over on the side here, this is just some of the things that I've done in the last few weeks. And then this is actually the version of ChatGPT. So as you can see here, this version is the newest, most advanced model. It's ChatGPT 4.0, and that just came out last week. So this is a brand new tool that I'm about to show you. ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 4.0, you have to have a subscription to OpenAI. And I'm going to be sending out resources here to show you how to do some of this stuff. But for people asking, it is actually going to be I'm going to put the plug in here, the AI PRM is what I'm using. But this version of ChatGPT is paid. I think it's $20 a month. So I highly recommend, if you're going to use this, to get the paid version. And the reason is because these higher levels, the way that it goes out into the universe and gets information, the 3.5 level does it with a very small parameter. I don't know, it's like 80 million or something crazy like that. The ones that are higher are in the billions, hundreds of billions of parameters. I don't even know how many it is in the 4.0. It may even be in the trillions. So it's just going way different places to find this information. That's the easiest way I can explain it to you guys. So I'm going to go in and I am actually going to do something. This is a real trick. So if you do not know this, I would write this down. You can see up here at the top, I have my Chrome extensions, and I have this, if you look at where my mouse says voice in speech to text dictation. So that is actually a Chrome extension. I'm using Chrome. You can do this with other things beside Chrome. You just have to go in and download it. But you need to get something where you can dictate and speak to your ChatGPT. This will save you hours. And the reason that I'm going to tell you to do this is, I'll give you a little analogy for those of you who are married or have a significant other or someone that does errands for you sometimes. If you tell someone to go to the store and get something for dinner, they are going to get you whatever they want. And it may be this thing you thought of. If you maybe wanted steak with potatoes and a Caesar salad and bread, and maybe you wanted cookies for dessert. But they may bring back sushi, and maybe you didn't want that. Or maybe they bring back chicken and you weren't in the mood for chicken. If you prompt something and say, hey, I would like steak and baked potatoes, and you tell them the whole thing, the likelihood that they give you back a great answer or bring back what you actually want is way higher. The same thing with prompting on ChatGPT. In fact, the best skill that you could possibly learn here is prompting. So why does it matter if you're speaking? Is because we can all speak a lot faster, usually, than we can text, unless you're some sort of super typer. But even so, you're talking to it in more of a conversational manner, which generally gets more details and information into the prompt. So if you learn nothing else today and you take nothing else besides ChatGPT and speaking to it to prompt, that is a superpower that you can use in your daily life. So let's get started with this. I'm going to click this button, and everything I say is going to be dictated into the chat. I am in the glass industry and I am a hiring manager who is looking for a job description for someone I need to hire in the Atlanta, Georgia market. I want to hire someone with the job description of residential and commercial glass technician. This job is going to pay $50,000 a year with benefits and a 401k. I want you to write a job description including objectives and key tasks that this person would be actually doing. Make sure to include any great benefits that we have at our company, and also go ahead and write this in the style of a world-class company with a culture where someone would really want to come work. So obviously I'm making up all these details. If you were doing this in real life, you would want to give real details that are talking about what you're doing. And then this is going to pull these tasks and key responsibilities from what it thinks it should be. So know that you're never going to be able to prompt something in ChatGPT and get a perfect answer, but it's probably going to be pretty darn good compared to what you would write as a first go. And as you can see, I don't know how many seconds this took, but maybe 30 seconds instead of days and days of toiling over how to format this. So I'm going to take this back to the very top and let you guys look. So y'all can put in the chat what you're thinking, like how do you think this looks? I mean, especially the people that have a job like this in their, Kim Evans, how do you think this would look? Would you use this as a first draft? So here we have, the title, we have all of the information here that would go on probably your Google search review or your Indeed listing, wherever you're listing this. So this is a join a world-class team and build a bright future with us. Are you a skilled glass technician looking for a rewarding career with a company that values excellence, teamwork, and personal growth? So if you wanted to put your company's vision, mission, core values, all of those things here, then you could actually get it to write that into your prompting. Our company, a leader in the glass industry, is seeking a dedicated and experienced residential and commercial glass technician. They talk a little bit about the company. Again, it's making this up based on what would probably be your company's culture if you were a world-class culture, because that's what I told it. But you would want to be more specific with what your culture actually is. And then if you go down, you can see all of the key objectives. So delivering high quality glass and repair, installation, managing high standards of safety and professionalism, customer service, excellent service and attention to detail. And so you can see, do you guys think this, put in the chat, if you think this is a yes, it was pretty good, or if it's no, kind of crappy and you would never use it, put a yes or a no in the chat for me. This definitely is one of those things that you are going to have to go in, and maybe the key task that this person was going to do. But yeah, so most people are thinking this is a pretty good starting point. And then here, as your paid time off, you would probably want to put your exact, you get a week or you get 5 days and plus 8 holidays, however you do that. So again, copy this in and I'll show you really quickly. You can, if you want to copy the whole thing here, you can just go down and just take, okay, well, I'm going to use all of this, but maybe you don't want the how to apply. So you can just literally copy this and paste it into a Word doc, a Google Doc, wherever your workspace is, and then you can nuance this. And it even added this equal opportunity employer part to the bottom. You definitely want to make sure from a legal standpoint that if you're doing things like this, that, if you have some sort of thing you need to add on there, like the equal opportunity, that you're adding that. But I just want to make sure you understand from anything you do in chat, number one, you always need to proofread it, never, ever, ever use it without it. And then secondarily this is the thing that usually gets you 80 to 85% there. And then that other 15%, maybe 20%, you have to nuance and you put in the specifics. And you can continue prompting this. So if I wanted to go back and say, hey, I really like this, but I want you to be X, Y, and Z more direct, more, whatever, talk more about our culture and say these values, you can continue to prompt this and it keeps getting better and better and better. All right, so if you want to do the lion tamer, I'm going to do that. So somebody drop me 3 characteristics that you think a lion tamer would need to be. Just put one person, just drop one and keep doing it. So I want to prompt this exactly what we want it to say. So fearless, courageous, all right, brave. Okay, that's 3. Strong. All right, awesome. We're going to do this. Now I want you to do something totally different. I want to write a job description for a lion tamer at the Atlanta Zoo. I want this job to really try to get someone who's talented with animals. They need to have experience. I want this to be a sort of funny ad because I want to just take that branding perspective. So I want to be humorous. This person definitely can't be scared to lose an arm. They definitely can't be allergic to cats. They don't need to be tasty. And we want them to be brave, courageous, and fearless. So this job is going to pay $15 an hour, and they will get benefits. They also get free passes to the zoo for their family and extended family. And I want you to write this job description right now for me. Tony, I love the tasty. All right. So who would be a lion tamer for $15 an hour? I would probably do it for free because I like animals. I think this is going to be an interesting one. So again, you can be more professional. I read some stuff sometimes. I'm like, oh, it's so stuffy. I wish it would be a little bit funnier. And you can think about that with email marketing or campaigns that you're running. If you want to take an approach where it's a little fun, then you can actually tell it how you want the tone to be. All right. Are you brave, fearless, and possibly just a bit crazy? We've got the job for you. So it grabs your attention for sure. The Atlanta Zoo is on the hunt, pun intended, for a lion tamer extraordinaire. If you've got nerves of steel, a heart of gold, and absolutely zero fear of losing an arm, you might just be the perfect fit for our roaring team. We're looking for someone who can handle the king of the jungle with the grace of a ballet dancer and the courage of a superhero. So put yes or no in the chat if you like that. I mean, this is pretty funny. Obviously, this job is kind of a weird job description, but I mean, that's pretty hilarious. Like, I would literally use that verbatim. I don't even know if I would change anything. I maybe the losing an arm the legal department at the zoo is probably going to say no to that one. So the objection here is to tame lions. It's simple. Just keep all your limbs intact and keep cool under pressure. Lion whispering, safety first, educate and entertain, feed the beast, and daily care. So it even kind of got, I mean, that probably is really what a lion tamer would do at the zoo. I mean, they're doing some educating and feeding and scoop and poop and all those things. So there's a lot of pretty spot on information here. And then tastiness is not recommended. We prefer our lion tamers to be on the non-edible side. So this is really good. So again, we're just playing here, but it even still added here at the bottom, warning this job may cause an increase in adrenaline levels and a significant decrease in boring work days. So it's kind of playing on the whole fun idea. Now, I'm going to do, just to show you how to do this, I'm going to change this totally. So I'm going to say, this is really amazing, but my boss said I can't be this funny and legal is worried about us getting sued. So I want you to take out all of the fun parts and make this more of a serious AI written, but where we can't tell it's AI, it's super professional and not funny at all. So here's the boring, sad version that legal would approve. If you're in legal, I love you. Thank you for getting us not sued. But sometimes legal does take marketing's craziness away. So this is way more common, way more what you would see in the job. I just want to show you kind of how this is nuanced. So Holly, I see your question there about needing key insights for how to use AI on sales. So tell me what you're selling, and then tell me maybe would you rather see like a AI on email marketing? What do you in your day-to-day, what would help you the most to be able to get a trick for AI with sales? So I just need just a little information, and then I can tailor that answer to the question there. And I'm going to drop in this, the chat voice in text to speech dictation is the name of the Chrome extension. And again, if you're not using Chrome, you can work on that. You can still download the other one. And that was another question. The dictation was in the questions. All right. So Holly needs insights on sales, and she sells National Glass Association media, magazines, ad space, and sponsorships. Okay, that's really good. So I am going to just ask ChatGPT for those tips, and we'll see what it gives us, because sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. So one thing I'm going to do just to keep it fresh is I'm going to start a new chat. So a lot of times if you're doing something like this, I want you to start a new chat, because you can reference back to these older chats that you've done, and it's easier to find things if you start, okay? So here we go. I am a sales representative for the National Glass Association, and my job is to actually sell ad space and sponsorships for their media and magazine team. I want some tips to up my sales, and I need you to give me very specific tips. I would like to think of campaign options, even some of the things that I might say to make this work better. And I want you to write this in the style of a world-class sales leader who has taught sales training themselves. So be specific and give me exact actions I can take to better my sales. One thing you'll find that I'm doing here is I am asking it to write in a certain style. So if you wanted to write it in the style of a motivational speaker, you might say, write this in the style of Brene Brown or Tony Robbins, or whoever it is that you like, Oprah, whoever the person that you want to sound like is, and it's going to do that. And that kind of gives it a little more context around what you might actually want to get from that and how you would nuance that. And then that lets chat take that. It's just like the grocery store order thing. You really want that to be something that you can give it as much information as possible to get the quickest and most precise answer that you can. All right, so this gave me a lot of things. I am not going to read all of this, but it will tell you here that persuasion, strategic planning, communication, strong relationship building are really important. So knowing your audience. So it's asking you, to research the market. What challenges are they facing? So then we could ask it, hey, what challenges is the glass industry facing? And it will probably give us a great list here. Build a strong value proposition. So you can see these are a lot of different options: data, metrics, show ROI, networking, and all of these things I'm sure you're already doing. But here's the thing that I would take. So let's take one of these options. If you want to put one in the chat that you want me to dive a little deeper onto, it doesn't really matter to me. We'll go deeper on whichever one, and we can do that. Or I can just go ahead and start with number one with the know your key challenges. So we're going to ask it that, and then if you have something you want to learn from this even deeper, put it in the chat. I would like to expand upon the number one option of understanding your market. I want you to give me the key customer in the glass industry that the National Glass Association would be talking to. And then I want you to do a SWOT analysis for this customer, understanding the problems they're facing and the challenges that they may have. And then I want to showcase how advertising with the National Glass Association would actually help them solve those challenges. Be specific and give me a detailed plan, and also give me an email that I could send out to users to get them to actually be interested in talking to me further about sponsoring. This email needs to be just a call setting email. Do not force a purchase on the email. So as specific as you can be, that would be great. Because if you're not trying to get a sell from this email, then you want to write that differently. And this is more of a marketing principle. You want to write it just to get attention and to get the next step. You don't want to try to take them all the way to the close on this email. So we need to be as specific as we can about that. All right. So let's see what the SWOT analysis here, in you guys drop in the chat yes or no if you think this is relevant here. So the key profile here for NGA is manufacturer of glass products, suppliers, distributors, service providers, so installation, maintenance, repair, architectural and construction firms, and then retailers who sell directly to the consumer or the businesses. So from what I know about NGA, I feel like that's pretty close. There's probably some that maybe it missed. SWOT analysis. So you guys have strengths of innovative products, established brand and market presence, and a skilled workforce. Weaknesses, high production costs, limited marketing reach. You need more effective marketing strategies to reach customers. That could be a really good one to key in on an advertising. And then dependence on the construction industry. So when things are great, business is great. When things go down, a little bit less business. Technology advances is an opportunity, market expansion, and sustainability trends. So if I was trying to sell advertising to someone who's in the tech space, then this would be a good way to say, hey, this industry has a really big need for tech and improvement there. So if you showcase what you have in our ads, then you're going to get these amazing manufacturers, suppliers, dealers, distributors of glass products. They're going to see your stuff and then they're probably going to buy it. So all of these things, again, I'm not going to go too deep in this, but this is something that you really can go in and nuance and get better. So I don't want to spend too much time here because I've already shown a lot on ChatGPT, but I did see 2 questions that I will answer really quickly. So Mary Grace asked, can you ask it to summarize, the 2 paragraphs, like summarize the above 2 paragraphs? Yes. So what I would do there is I would highlight the 2 things that you want it to summarize, and then I would drop that in the chat here as a paste. And I would say, please summarize these. And I would tell it kind of how long do you want it to be. If you want it to be, 12 sentences or a certain word count, because sometimes we do have a word limit. If you're writing a bio or you're doing something like that, you may have a word limit of, 150 characters. You can actually tell it that and it will usually get really close. If it, I would still put it into Google Doc or Word and do a word count just to make sure before you send it over to someone, but it definitely will do that. And then Troy had a question, can ChatGPT help with developing PowerPoint slides for a presentation? So absolutely yes, it will do the copy part and the structure of how you actually present it. You can do the same thing I said with the world-class speaker. You can actually say, hey, do this in the style of a TED Talk. You can even tell it to do it in the style of a certain speaker. So if you have someone who you find extremely engaging, maybe this has to be someone who's pretty famous, right? So it can be anybody that's not known, but you got to go in and yes. So Adam, you could do this in the style of Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean if you wanted to. You could do any of these different things if you wanted to be fun. But that is really something you got to figure out, like, who do I want to sound like, or what do I want to structure this like? You can also use adjectives. So professional, corporate, maybe it's funny, maybe it's compelling and emotionally driven. You want it to really be a story, all of those different things. And then the actual making of the slides. So I see Tony dropping this in here. I would not try to do any of that here. That really needs to be done in another app, and there are literally thousands of them. But the one that I use the most is Canva. There are some other ones that you can use that are paid services that will give you templates, and you can even drop in what you want. I personally have tried that a little bit. I don't like it, but I'm also a branding and marketing person, so I have a very specific look that I want my slides to look like. So I would just get your slides through, the target on what you're going to actually put on them, and then you can go in and use Canva to give you some ideas on templates and then change it to your brand colors. So that is my best advice there. All right, I'm going to stop screen sharing and go back here to my Canva presentation and give you just a few more options here. So as you see these, if you have questions in the chat, I'm trying to get the chat to stay up here. Let's see if I can do that. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Okay, so can everyone see this still? Okay, no, I think it stopped sharing. Hold on. All right, there we go. Now I think everybody can see it. All right, perfect. So Grammarly is another one that uses AI. If you don't use Grammarly and you are writing sales emails, if you are really honestly doing anything in your computer on a daily basis for work, I highly recommend this. If you are a company owner and you don't have this for your team, this is a great way to seem more professional for maybe people that are not great spellers or not great writers. This can really help them if you show them how to use it. If I had this in college and high school, I mean, oh my goodness, it would have saved my entire life. I wish I had this tool. So Grammarly, it is a paid service. It's not crazy. One thing I wanted to show you really quickly, and I don't have time to go too deep into this, but this is called Midjourney. And Midjourney is through another little app called Discord. So I don't want to get too confusing there, but the main part of this conversation I want you to see is just some of the images that you can make with AI. So I went in right before this call and I put in a few prompts that I actually got through ChatGPT. So these prompts were ChatGPT driven, and I want to show you what it gave me. So I asked for some prompts on women in construction. These are some of the pictures, and as you can see, they gave me different ones. Again, with ChatGPT, the same thing with Midjourney. You don't know what you're going to get, and so if you get something once, the likelihood of you getting something exactly the same again is very low. So just know that if you get a picture you love, it's not going to happen again very similarly. It might be close, but it's going to be different. So I told this to give me a Pixar style image of a glazer working on the side of a large building. I wanted it to be somewhere in the city with a lively atmosphere. And I'm going to go ahead, just because I kind of like this one, I'm going to upcycle this picture number 3 and show you what it gave me. And then this one, it is a Norman Rockwell style. And again, this is very, a little more advanced, but I just want you to see what's possible. This is a Norman Rockwell glazer. And then here, this is a photography style. So AI images are not perfect, but they are really starting to get pretty good. So this is the Pixar version, pretty cool. I don't know what the heck this tool that he's holding is, and neither do you, because it's probably not a glazer tool. That would be something that we could fix. Or, you just say like, hey, it's just not going to be perfect. We're going to let it ride. Maybe you could do that in Canva. You can do that in Photoshop if you're a marketing person. Here is the Norman Rockwell one. So this guy's kind of cool. I mean, pretty awesome imagery there, and very different than probably anything you see a lot of times with photography. And then this is someone who is doing a photography here with this, again, is not a real person, it's AI. So some of the things, like, I'm not really sure what's going on here in the glass, but I could easily go and fix that in Canva or in Photoshop. And then this one is pretty cool. So the one thing I will tell you, if you get down the rabbit hole in this Midjourney images deal, and again, this will be a little more complicated, watch for the hands and the teeth. So it will sometimes make people look like vampires when they smile, very pointy canines, and then their hands will sometimes be putty, or there'll be like a finger missing. Or so a lot of times I check for that first. That's the first thing I look at. But there's just a lot you can do here. And if you're struggling to find images, especially for something like a blog, or something you're only going to use one time, then that is something that I would go in and check out for if you're doing a lot of content like that, to see if maybe you might be able to use it. All right, so we're going to stay here on this presentation for the duration of this, and I will be monitoring the chat if you have anything to add. So it's Canva, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. That's one of my next slides. So this is the logo here. So if you see this, there are free versions of Canva, but most of the AI tools that you use are going to be in the paid version. It's not really that expensive compared to what that you get here. This Canva can actually generate images too, but I find the images are not quite as good as what I just showed you, which was called Midjourney. And wow, I don't know what just happened there. For everyone that's wanting to know these names, you will get these slides, and I'm also going to give you a worksheet here that you can, because I know I'm talking fast and I'm covering a lot of words. So you will get the recording, the presentation slides, and you're going to also get this here with the information. The Canva can do AI images. It also can do a ton of stuff on the creation side with templates. So if you are doing anything in your business that is creative at all, Canva is probably the #1 thing that I would say you can get. I use that a lot. AI is also being used in your Netflix algorithms. And I'm going to fly through some of these here because, again, you're going to get these slides. We talked a little bit about how you can use this, but why would you care about it? Mainly because there's a giant labor shortage. So any task that we can take off of an actual human, it just makes one less person that we have to hire. So how many people in your business, just drop a yes in the chat if you do, need more people and cannot find those people and would love to delegate some tasks to a computer? So I'm seeing a lot of yeses already. And then the next thing is those people you actually do hire, they love technology. So the next generation of millennials, which is what I am, will make up 75% of the workforce in the US by 2025, which is next year. That's a giant number. And then also Gen Z, raised on tech, They are all pretty much early operators and adopters of AI products. So if you're going to hire the next generation, they're going to want to have these tools available to use. So delegate the tasks that you don't want. So AI can do those while you can go and do high level tasks and really be working on your business things that only you can do. It's a win-win scenario. And this is where I'm going to send you these later, but really the efficiency, the automation, and we can automate things like reviews on Google. So if you have a business where you're going out and you're serving customers and you would like to get reviews, you can actually automate the sending of a request for a review. You can also automate the review actually after you put it in, having a comment back. Thank you so much for the review. And you can put a lot of parameters in. That's actually done through a tool that we have. It's a CRM that we utilize with Grit Blueprint, which is my business. And we can automate all of those things. And then the next thing is replying to frequently asked questions. So you can have that automatically done with the chatbot, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in just a second. Automating your calendar, scheduling, confirming, rescheduling appointments. So if someone doesn't show up for an appointment, you could automatically send them a text and say, hey, I see that you missed this call we had about a sales, something that you asked me for on my website. Would you like to reschedule? All of that can be automated. 62% of calls are missed by small businesses. That is a giant number. If you miss a call, you can, with the correct compliance on what we call A2P, set up a text message that would automatically message back that person and say, hey, we saw we missed a call from you. We would love to schedule a time to talk. And they can automatically schedule that recall back with all AI. You never touch it. And you never miss a call again without having some sort of touch back to that person. And then the next possible things are supply chain, pricing, all of those other things that you guys talked about on the first end that you would want to fix. That's all operations driven, product management driven. All of those things can be automated. Now, some of these you may have to build custom tools for project monitoring, reporting. There are some great tools in a project management software that I use called Monday.com, and you can automate certain tasks. You can do a lot of things when someone gets finished. It sends an email to the next person, and then it'll take it to a certain level on the deadlines. So all of these things can be really automated. But again, a lot of information, and I know there's no way we could cover this all in an hour. The one thing I do want to share with you that I'm really particularly excited about is we have developed a chatbot, and we have, and when I say we, I mean my business, and we've seen really cool things in training and also in customer relationships. So I'm going to give you an example of a door just because I know that this works because I've used it with some of my clients. If you have a person that goes on your website and says, what is the difference between a flush glazed door and an insert type door? Then you could actually have that chatbot actually answer that. The flush glazed door is the glass is glazed into the door in the factory. It can't be removed. It's, stronger. You get more glass, all of these things that are true. And then on the insert, it would have the options there. And then you could actually link it to your website to show a picture. And then you could ask, hey, would you like to get a price on this? All of those things can be automated. So that could be used externally with your customers and internally. So in the glass business, you could do the exact same thing with your frequently asked questions. You can do the exact same thing with your maybe homeowner questions that you get asked a lot that might lead to a sale for you. So that's a really great sales tool. So this is something that can be customized for your business that gives you a real leg up where you're actually doing a lot of front end work to get people educated about your product and services so that then when they come to you as a salesperson, you don't have to do as much qualifying and answering those questions. So it's really cool for the getting rid of we'll call it tire kickers and getting that through the process where they're actually interested. So I know I said a lot of things and I talk pretty quickly because there's just 1 hour to get you all this information, but I want to know where you think you could start. So if you think you might want to start with ChatGPT, I want you to just type a yes in if I taught you something you've never learned on ChatGPT today, or if you never even tried ChatGPT, I want you to put a yes in the chat for me. And again, don't forget about that voice extension because that makes it so much easier than using that typing just old school method. All right, so a lot of yeses. I'm glad to hear that. And then I want you to identify one thing that you think you could automate or use that would help you in AI. So if you saw something on this webinar that you think will help you in your day to day, maybe it's the job descriptions, maybe it's emails, maybe it's the SWOT analysis, maybe it's the pictures, just drop that in the chat. I'm just curious to hear kind of what your thoughts are here. So the text training, specific writing or editing, awesome, love that. Is there an AI function that will create an entire? Uh, yes and no, Saul. You can do that. You will never have something that will be 100% done with AI right now. You're always going to have to nuance some things and fix it, but you can get close to where you have a template and then you can go from there. So we could talk a little more about that, but it's not perfect yet. Customer communications, pictures for advertisement, love that. Chatbot for the website. Tim is not sure. So Tim, if you have more questions, let me know. I'm going to work with AI to get some market analysis done in the glass world. I love that. Creating email responses for events. Perfect. Awesome answers, guys. I'm really excited to see how you all use this. And as a follow-up here, I'm going to be releasing newsletters, not 100% about AI, but about AI, marketing, branding, sales, things like that. But there will be a lot of technology-driven tips here. So if you're interested in doing this and actually subscribing, totally free, here's the QR code. I'm going to leave this up, but just know if you do not scan this and have time to get this QR code, then I will drop the link in the chat here. And then also I'm sure Sarah will send this out with the presentations coming out. You will be able to get this link. So please subscribe here if you're interested, and then I will take some questions really quickly in the chat. So if you want to just drop, if you have other questions, see John Wheeler says, if you use Power BI, notice the Copilot button that was added. I use AI today to find abnormalities in data, customers whose order have dropped off, missing customer types, etc. Really great suggestion, John. Power BI is obviously a really great tool, and so if you use that, that's Copilot can really help you. And I did not cover a lot of there are, I mean, millions of AI tools now. There are other things like Gemini is a Google tool. There's Baird. There's lots of different options. You can play with all of these. ChatGPT is just my weapon of choice, and I probably may even change that in the future and really explore more, but there are so many options out there. All right, Angela had a question. What tools are available for chatbots for customer service questions? So Angela, if you're interested in that, you can follow up with me here on this email that we're going to send out. My email's in there. We actually can customize and build chatbots for you. That's part of what we're doing, or there are other people that do it if you don't choose to talk to me about it, but there's a lot of people that can do this. There's some stuff you can do that's pretty minor, and then there's a whole gamut of things that are very customized, so a lot of things. Just use for some market research as you were talking about. Wow, great info in 30 seconds. Awesome, Troy. I'm glad to hear that. And I think that if you start using this, you're going to find really quickly that there's a ton of options you can use this for. Just know if you're asking it for facts or figures, this is one thing I did not say earlier. If you're asking it for facts, figures, quotes, things like that, make sure you ask it to do not make it up and to cite the sources, because if you get it to cite the source, then you have that in there. Are there any known integrations for ChatGPT and Salesforce? So yes, I believe there are. You can pretty much integrate anything through something called Zapier. It's I'm going to type that in the chat here. This will be in your little cheat sheet that I'm giving you. Really, it plugs two things together and makes an integration, but Salesforce probably has a lot of native integrations that are not through, something outward like Zapier. I'm not sure because I don't use Salesforce. I use a different CRM, but I know that there are integrations there. There's a ton of automations that you can do, even usually in those types of big softwares. They're just made into it, and they're very easy for you to go in and do. So yes, I believe that you probably can do that. If there are not any more questions, Sarah, I will turn it back over to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Thank you for the amazing engagement here. Really great questions. And if you have a question as you continue to go through this, please send me an email or you can LinkedIn me. I have a LinkedIn that I post on every single day, Stephanie Couch, and I'll drop my name in the chat here just so you guys can know how my name is spelled. But I'm the only Stephanie Couch on LinkedIn, so there is my name, and you can just go ahead and sign up, like I said, for that QR code, and we will get that newsletter coming out to you, so it'll have more information.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. This
You're
was
welcome.
jam-packed with
Yes.
information. I know everybody's going to be eager to see your material. So for everybody interested or going to be asking in the chat, glass.org/webinars, that's where the recording and the handouts will be available by about this time tomorrow, if not sooner. As a registrant of this webinar, you'll receive an email prompt specifically when it's available. Otherwise, you can check the website directly at your convenience. We thank you again so much for being here, Stephanie, and to all of you for joining us. Also a heads up, our next Thirsty Thursday in June will be on the 20th with a focus on fire rated glazing and the latest happening in the codes there. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of the afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.